Hello, writers of YouTube. My name is Rick Verde, and today's video is all about show, don't tell, the golden rule of writing. What does show, don't tell mean? Show, don't tell describes writing in various forms with an emphasis on showing actions in order to convey the emotions you want readers to interpret, which creates a better experience for readers instead of writing expositions to tell what happened. Now, the importance of all this, and the reason I'm creating this video, is because I belong to a bunch of Facebook um, groups where I deal with a lot of new writers who are working on their first book, and a lot of times they'll ask me to read their books and give them my opinion on it. And one thing I keep finding is that they like to tell and not show. And when I try to explain to them what the difference is, they don't seem to understand, and they don't understand what the difference is and why it makes such a big difference. And when I try to explain to them, they seem to brush it off and continue with the same way. Well, when you decide to start showing and not telling, that is when you'll become a great writer. If you continue telling and not showing, you will be a mediocre writer the rest of your life. And most likely, we will not get published. So, that is why I'm making this video. And hopefully, this will help somebody. So, if you have somebody in your life that is having issues with this, show them this video and hopefully they will learn. So, let's go into a couple of examples. Example number one, this is an example of a tell. I heard footsteps creeping behind me, and it made the whole situation scarier. Okay, how did it make it scarier? Did that engage you at all? If you were to read that in a book, would you be engaged? Would you say, man, I gotta keep reading this? Or would you go, this book sounds boring? You would most likely think this book is boring and probably written by a third grader. Now let's look at the show. Crunching hit my ears from behind, accelerating the already rampant pounding of my heart. Okay, I am more engaged. I'm not saying this is, um, prize award winning writing right here, but it's more engaging because I want to know why her heart was already pounding. And now she hears crunching from behind her, so she's already even more spooked. And now I'm more engaged. I want to know more about what's going on. First one, I don't care. It didn't make me want to continue reading. Second one, I want to know what's going on. Why was her heart pounding already? Who's behind her? Is it someone that she should be terrified about? Is it just a stranger? Is it a dog just walking by, stepped on some leaves? Who knows? But let's continue. So, why is this example better? In an instance such as this, you want the reader to feel what you did, the surprise and the sense of urgency, the fear. Fear, fear, fear. Fear is the key word, okay? Because that's what they were trying to convey in there. They were trying to convey fear. And in the first sentence, I didn't feel fear. Second sentence, there was more anxiety, more fear driven. So that is why showing is better. You convey a better emotion. Let's go to a second example. She was my best friend. I could tell her almost anything. Okay, how am I supposed to know she's really your best friend? If I see two women together or two guys together out in public, how am I supposed to know they're best friends? They could just be regular friends. So that's what you just told me. Basically, two people together, and you're saying I could tell her about anything. Okay, but there's a book. You have to show me. Show me how I'm supposed to know they're best friends. Think of me as someone on the sidelines, and I'm watching this play out, almost like a movie. Because a book is a movie just without the actors. That's why a lot of books get turned into movies. They're basically um, screenplays, just not written in screenplay format. So it's harder to create that in, intensity or whatever you want to be shown in a movie in the cinema. You have to show it in words. So how are you going to show me that they're best friends in the book? You can't show me by saying she was my best friend. I could tell her almost anything. But the second sentence, the show, I met her at the town square, running in for our usual hug that carried on for far too long as we gushed about our lives with smiles lighting our faces. Okay, that, if I was on the sideline, again, let's say I'm at Starbucks. I'm buying myself a caramel macchiato. I sit down. I see a guy or a lady sitting there at a table. Another lady walks in. They rush to each other, they hug, they embrace for a long period of time, and they begin gushing over each other, flattering each other, talking about their lives. You know what's first out of my head? Hey, they're really good friends. They're best friends. I don't get that from the first one. You know what I get from the first one? First one I get, if I'm at Starbucks, I see one lady sitting by herself, another lady walks in, she goes, orders her drink, comes back, sits down next to the lady. They stare at each other. They say a couple words, and then they walk off. So that's what I get. Why is this showing example better? The first example of telling is shorter, but doesn't do a great job of really showing the impact you have on each other. Anyone can think of best friend and form an overall thought about what that looks like. But this isn't just anyone, this is your best friend. Showing your relationship with one another is vital to forging that deeper connection. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I think the best way to do this is to show some examples of some great writers who have written great books and gone on to have great success, and show some of their writing so that you could understand the difference and see why they are great writers, not mediocre. So first we're going to start with Margaret Atwood, writer of The Handmaid's Tale. And here we go. I once had a garden. I can remember the smell of the turned earth, the plump shape of bulbs held in the hands, fullness, the dry rustle of seeds through the fingers. Time could pass more swiftly that way. Sometimes the commander's wife has a chair brought out and just sits in it, in her garden. From a distance, it looks like peace. Damn, those are good words. Damn, damn, damn. Now that is writing. That is writing. That is what you should aspire to do. That is good writing right there, people. Did she tell you anything? No. She showed you there was a lot in there. And you can feel it. It's almost like you were there. You can feel it. So, Margaret Atwood, thumbs up. And let's go to my boy Stephen King. I've read a million of his books. Every time I think I'm catching up to all the books he's published, he releases like 10 more, just out of nowhere. I'm still trying to figure out how he does it, but he does it. It is a book I have read. It is a long book. It is amazing. But here we go. Now here he was, chasing his boat down the left of Witcham Street. He was running fast, but the water was running faster, and his boat was pulling ahead. He heard a deepening roar and saw that 50 yards further down the hill, the water in the gutter was cascading into a storm drain that was still open. It was a long, dark semicircle cut into the curbing, and as Georgie watched, a stripped branch, its bark as dark and glistening as sealskin shot into the storm drain's maw. Man, you can feel it in every sentence in there. That is writing. That is why Stephen King is Stephen King. He's number one for a reason. Every time he releases a book, even listen, I've read every one of his books. Well, not everyone. Again, guy keeps pumping out books left and right. But I've read a bunch of his books. Some of them are stinkers. They are. But even the stinkers have their moments. And it is not a stinker. It is great. And it has a lot of great writing in it. Now we're going to go to Gillian Flynn, known for Gone Girl. She's also written one called Dark Places that was turned into a movie starring Charlize Theron. Um, she also did one, I can't think of the name of it right now. It was turned into a kind of like a mini series for HBO with Amy Adams. I just can't think of it right now. But this is from Gone Girl. My morning breath warmed the pillow, and I changed the subject in my mind. Today was not a day for second guessing or regret. It was a day for doing. Downstairs, I could hear the return of a long lost sound. Amy making breakfast, banging wooden cupboards, rump, thump, rattling containers of tin and glass, ding, ring, shuffling and sorting a collection of metal pots and iron pans, ruzz, shuzz, a culinary orchestra tuning up, clattering vigorously towards the finale. Oh, Lordy, that is good writing right there. You can feel it. There's not a wasted sentence. This is what we all have to aspire to do. And how do we do it? How to show and don't tell in writing. Oh, here we go. Step number one, get rid of basic sensory words. Words such as heard, smell, or felt are weak words. These are telling words. The best way to do this is to implement an exercise I've been using for years. And here we go with exercise number one. Read through your writing and circle every telling word you can find. Anything that explains one of the five senses. Okay, then write down specifics for each. If you heard someone creeping up behind you, how did you hear it? Was it crunching on a gravel? Was it shuffling of the shoes against the carpet? So here goes an example. So for heard, crunching, footsteps, shoes, shuffling. For felt, chill, running, goosebumps, breeze. Number two, don't use emotion explaining words. Words such as happy, sad, angry, frustrated, excited, giddy, love, anxious, joy, and disgust. Exercise number two, skim through your writing and circle every word that's an emotion. Then, for every emotion explaining word you find, write down physical reactions of the feelings of that word. Example: as I ran towards the door, I heard footsteps behind me. I felt a chill of unease running down my spine. It was terrifying. Terrifying. Sweating, heart beating, wide eyes, trembling. Okay, number three, use strong verbs. The way you make someone else actually feel how you did as you were going through the experience is to make sure the words you're using directly reflects the emotions. This can be a difficult task for those who aren't sure what strong language looks like, but I'll make it easy for you. Example: think of a situation you want to explain in your book, or maybe something you already have written out. Now imagine what feeling you want to convey through that scene. What do you want your readers to take away from that specific moment in your story? List those emotions so you can see them all. So this is the third exercise. Write what you want your readers to know. This is the tell. I would have stayed on the pier forever if I could have. Man, if I was still back in Jersey, I'd be at Kingsburg Pier right now. I love that pier. I used to do all my fishing and crabbing there. Oh, I used to come up with stories left and right when I was out there, but I digress. Write a list of what that feeling you want them to experience is: comfort, nostalgic, sad, but in a good way, missing, longing, relaxing. There's a continuation of exercise. Take your list and write ways those emotions would manifest externally. Nostalgic would leave you aching, longing. You'd have a feeling of letting go, relinquishing, craving. Relaxing, you would be melting away. You feel easy, fluid, flowing, exhaling. Now take your list and rewrite your telling sentence to show readers what you want them to feel. Now there's the final sentence. I melted into the beach at the end of the pier, watching the sun wink through treetops as it relinquished itself to night, my breath flowing fluidly once again. Number 4, focus on describing senses. Now I know this is going to be confusing because you guys are going to say, hey, you said cut out all sensory words. Yes, but you still have to explain feeling and senses. Showing versus telling is largely about allowing your readers to interpret what your characters are going through without just telling them. So here we go. Here goes an example. Instead of saying she hated it there, okay, what does that show me? Why did she hate it there? Give me reasons. Give me something. You could use senses to explain why she hated it there. So, for example, I'm going to use senses to explain why she hated it there. The faint scent of stale cigarette smokes met her nostrils, pulling her face into a familiar grimace. So now we use senses. We use her sense of smell to tell you why she hated being there. She hated it because of that faint, stale smell of cigarette smoke. It attacked her nostrils and it made her grimace. Okay? That allowed us to understand why she hated it there. You can't just say she hated it there. Like, I live in California right now, and I can tell you I hate living in California. But then you're thinking, why does he hate California? Well, that's basically what we just did with that sentence. I would have to use some type of senses or something to explain to you why I hate it out here. So now, number 5, practice showing, not telling, every day. Now, just like with everything, just to get started, you have to do this every day. You have to write every day. And it's going to be tough at first. I still get caught doing it, but that's why we edit. And then after you're done editing, what do you guys do? Edit again. Because you're going to catch yourself doing this a lot, especially at first. But you have to make sure you show and not tell. Telling does nothing for your story. It brings it to a grinding halt. It makes the readers not care. So make sure you show and not tell. Now, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please make sure you hit that like button. And if you want more content from me, make sure you click on the subscribe button. But I would like to say thank you to everyone. And if you want more information, or if you want to get to know more about me, or if you want to buy me a coffee, you can go to my website, www.rickverde.com. That's right, it's verde. Verde is green in Spanish. So it's www.rickverde.com. Thank you very much, and everybody have a good day. I hope you enjoyed the video.